Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So let's get on to covering the multiple choice questions for prelims 2020 and question number 1. With reference to National Action Plan for Drug Demand Reduction, consider the following statements. Number 1. It aims at combating drug abuse through a multi-pronged strategy involving education, de-addiction and rehabilitation. Alright, number 2, it provides for direct funding to panchayats and urban local bodies. Alright, and the last is the plan has been prepared by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So 3 statements are given and options are either way obvious, 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 1 only, or all of these. So we are to find a correct statement here regarding a National Action Plan for Drug Demand Reduction. So pause a bit and try to come up with the right answer. Now herein we just have to keep a tab on the most important information, and that is the ministry who has prepared this plan. It is not Ministry of Family and Family of Health and Family Welfare. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare is not the right answer. It is the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. Please memorize this point. It's really important. And yes, option number 1 and option number 3 are indeed correct. That this policy, which is to go from 2018 till 2023. So this span is also important because UPSC can ask anything. And aim is either way obvious, that we are to deal with the drug abuse through a multi-pronged strategy that entails education, de-addiction and rehabilitation. Education दे दिया, फिर de-addict नहीं किया और de-addict कर भी दिया, rehabilitate नहीं किया, then entire thing would be jeopardized. So yes, point number 1 is indeed correct. Second is also correct, that yes, it provides a direct funding to not just panchayats but to all these organizations like Panchayati Raj institutions, urban local bodies, universities, social work institutions, etc. So it's really a good plan because herein direct funding is to be given to these agencies. So that's it, we are done, and let's move on to question number 2, which is regarding the Amravati School of Art. Consider the following statements. What are these? Number 1, it was patronized by Satavahanas. Alright. Second, there is an emphasis on narrative element with stories from the life of Buddha and Jataka tales. Alright. Last is red sandstone as predominantly used as material for carving sculptures. Now it got 3 important details and all these details are important. So try to come up with the right answer here as well. Options are either way obvious, not so obvious in this particular case because we are not seeing all of these as correct as the right option. We are having 1 only, 3 only, 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only. So elimination strategy ke according we do try to come up with the right answer here. So let's see the answer either way, that yes, it was patronized by Satavahanas. Now we just need to mug it up. There are 3 schools of art: Gandhara, Mathura and Amravati. Amravati one we are talking about right now, and patrons of this school of art were Satavahanas. Please memorize this. Then there is definitely was an emphasis on the narrative element. So storytelling, narration tha idhar, and basically stories from the life of Buddha, which we call them Jataka stories. And statement number 3 is not correct because red sandstone was not predominantly used here. Instead, white marble was the primary material used in this sculpture. So ye white color ke the, marble ke. Now these 3 details are important and there are other details as well, but right now we are focusing on 3 points only. So that Satavahanas were the patrons, narrative element was there, and white marble was the primary material used. So let's get on to the next question now. So with reference to institutions of eminence, which of the following statements is are correct? Alright, number 1, it aims to bring only government or government aided higher institutions in the top 500 of the world rankings in the next 10 years. So a lot of information to be processed. So do read it carefully. Second is each public institution selected as IOE, that is Institution of Eminence, will get financial assistance up to rupees 1000 crore over a period of 5 years under this scheme. Again, lot of data to be processed, so read it carefully. And the last is the Institution of Eminence granted institution will get complete flexibility in fixing of curriculum and syllabus. Options are 1 only, 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, or 3 only. So we are not seeing any options wherein all of these are correct. So herein again try to come up with the right answer with an elimination strategy. So let's see the answer now. Number 1 statement is it aims to bring only government or government aided higher educational institution. Now this is not true, because we know there was this controversy going on. It was all over the news that Geo institution, which hasn't yet come into picture, has also been granted this tag of Institution of Eminence. So Geo, if at all it ever comes into existence, would be a private educational institution. So that make us say that basically government aided or private institutions would be given this tag, and they are to come up as top 500 in world ranking in next 10 years. This is indeed correct. So याद कर लेना है, top 500 में आना है 10 सालों में, and it could be either government aided or private higher educational institutions. Second statement is indeed correct that yes, government would be giving financial assistance of 1000 crore over a period of 5 years. So this amount is important. It's not 100, it's not 10,000, it's exact 1000 crore for a period of 5 years. And yes, the ones that has gotten this tag, they will be getting complete flexibility in fixing of syllabus and curriculum. This is either way obvious. So we are done with this question as well. So let's move on to the next question now, which is the last one. So Delhi Chalo movement was associated with which of the following? So Delhi Chalo movement was what? Dharsana Satyagrah, individual Satyagrah, non-cooperation movement, or civil disobedience movement. Now if you have revised the spectrum, then it's a really simple question, but if you haven't, then don't worry, it's really simple. एक बार स्पेक्ट्रम का रिवीजन से हो जाएगा. So Delhi Chalo movement was basically related to individual satyagrah. Herein Gandhiji was to come up with the civil disobedience movement, but just before the launch of civil disobedience movement, Gandhiji wanted to kind of know the response of the people, the preparedness of the people. So Gandhiji insisted the leaders to just go outside and give anti-war lectures and speeches, and if at all you are arrested, then fine, and if not, then go to the next district and repeat this, and we are to go to Delhi finally. So Delhi Chalo movement was basically this. So who was the first individual satyagrahi? Vinoba Bhave. Who was the second? Nehru. And who was the third? Brahmadatta. So all these three names are important. First one was Vinoba Bhave, second was Nehru, third was Brahmadatta. And individual satyagraha prior to launch of civil disobedience movement. So answer here becomes B. That's it. More details can be read from spectrum, but we are supposed to cover only this question and we are done. Now there was one doubt regarding the market stabilization scheme. So herein it's really simple. Basically we know that RBI issues a bond, and that's how excess liquidity from the market is sucked through these bonds. अगर RBI bond issue कर रहा है तो commercial banks खरीदेंगे, तो money जो है वो commercial banks से RBI के पास जाएगी, and that's how money supply would go down. And basically what is the market stabilization scheme? Herein in normal circumstances, when we do not have any situation of excess liquidity, then RBI usually issues a bond. That's a normal case scenario. But when there is excess liquidity in the system, as we know happened in the case of demonetization, wherein people just parked whatever money they had with the commercial banks, and commercial banks got flooded with so much of money. Now at that particular time, if commercial banks had lent that very money, then market would have gotten really destabilized, because एकदम से इतना credit आएगा market में तो destabilization happens. So herein what RBI did was RBI launched a market stabilization scheme wherein a special sort of bonds were issued and commercial banks bought those bonds from the RBI and parked its money with the RBI. So that's how excess liquidity from the market got sucked and we were back to the equilibrium. Now these are special types of bonds because of certain reasons. Number one, these are issued only when there is excess liquidity in the system, and this happened for the very first time in the year 2004, and second time it happened during demonetization. तो normal situation में bonds नहीं issue होते, and second of all, the interest onto these bonds are paid by the government of India, and at some places it's been written that it does not form the part of the fiscal deficit of the government, but these details right now are not important because it's a thing of a past, and basically we have understood the crux of the market stabilization scheme. The details, as in are they forming part of fiscal deficit, who is going to be paying the interest, what are the details, what is the rate of interest per se, is something that you can Google on your own because it keeps worrying. So we are done with the 4 questions for day 30, and if you are watching these videos and finding them helpful, then please do share them further, and we are done. Thank you so much for watching and goodbye.